Hi, and welcome to Origin of Concepts. In this episode, I'll walk you through the mysteries of Orion from Greek mythology. And this will be a good one, I promise. Orion, the great hunter from Greek mythology, is famous for his hunting skills, his bronze club, and his ability to walk on water. A sting from a great scorpion sent by Gaia ended his life. Yeah, it's a pretty short introduction, but he's not the greatest god, or actually he's not even a part of the Olympian team, so to speak, in the Greek Olympias, the Olympians. And but he is a very exciting character because he has been used to make the constellation Orion, and that's a famous constellation. And it's no secret that Orion originates in the Milky Way Center. So let's take a look at the Milky Way Center. Here we go. And as usually, I will start making some key features. But before I do that, I will draw Orion, or the main aspects of the Milky Way, who is surrounding Orion. And this is, of course, the disk here, and his body is the striped shadow. So this is the main aspect around the Orion, like all the other heroes in all the other Greek myths. Orion is born in Boeotia, which means the land of the ox cattle. And Boeotia is, of course, the striped shadow here, because the striped shadow is the land of the ox, of the cattle. And I can even go deeper into that subject, because this is the cattle of the ox, and the ox is, of course, the bull, and the bull is here in the sky. Yeah, that's the bull, and I'll make got the eye here, and here we got the, and then he can have like a stretched leg out here, or he can lay down like this. So this is the bull, and this is all the small bulls, the cattle of the ox. So this is here Orion is born. Zeus, Poseidon, and Hermes took the hide of a bull. Okay, let me bring the bull back. They took the hide of a bull and urinated, or put their semen on it. Then they instructed Horatius or Hyrieus to bury the hide in the earth. And Hyrieus is he was like a shepherd who wished to have a boy, but he couldn't manage. So he offered the bull to the gods, and then in return they will give him a little boy, Orion. So now we have to find out what this means. And let me start over here. The bull hide is the dark shadow surrounding the Milky Way Center. So this is basically the skin of the bull. And the striped shadow here is the earth, where the shepherd has to bury the the cowhide or the skin. And as you will know if you have seen some of my other videos, the striped shadow is always the earth, the black soil, the mortal realm, or the bridge between the mortal realm, the earth, and the heavens. So he buried his hide here in the striped shadow. And he buried it below the dark shadows around the Milky Way center. So under the earth is the cowhide here, or the skin of the bull or ox. So here you see the burial. And 9 months later, Hyrieus dug up the hide, and from it a baby boy was born. And now I'll remove this, and then it becomes a little baby boy here. Hello, Orion. And in some other traditions, he's simply identified as giant born from the earth, Gaia. And yes, Orion is a giant, which I will show you on the run in this video. But Gaia is also his mother, so to speak. So let's put him here, because Gaia is the silvery shadow here with the female posture. She's standing here. And the striped shadow here is also the womb of the mother. It's the crescent. And in here lies the little Orion. So, and she is connected to the striped shadow, which is the earth, and therefore Gaia is Mother Earth here. So Mother Earth is the silvery shadow combined with the striped shadow. Okay, let's move on. Orion was originally named Orion because he derived from the urine, to urinate, or from the act of ejaculation. So Orion means urine. And where else do we find urine other than in the toilet or the Milky Way center? Because the urine is, of course, an allegory of the yellow color, or the golden disk in the Milky Way center. And the light is the urine of the gods, the spirit. So, okay, and the next feature here is Orion was considered a giant with the ability to walk on water. And let me display that for you, because the striped shadow here is the water, along with this spot up here above the disk. This is the water in the Milky Way center. And Orion is a giant, and he is walking on the water. And here you see Orion's foot. And this is, by the way, also Jesus walking on water. So this is the term walking on water, not a real giant or a real human being walking on water. So here you got Orion walking on water. Orion's adventures led him to the island of Chios, which means island of snow, where King Oenopion, which means the winemaker king, asked him to rid the land of wild beasts, and in exchange for the hand of his daughter Merope, he promised they could marriage. And Orion, falls in love with Merope. The island Chios is the white silvery shadow here, full of white snow, of course. And that's what Chios means, islands of snow. And this is the white island in the Milky Way. And the winemaker king is, of course, the striped shadow here with all the wine plants. And the reason why it is wine is because the red wine is the light from the red light from the disc flowing down through the striped shadow. So therefore he's the winemaker king. And the beasts are, of course, the striped shadow. This is all the animals that Orion kills on this island. So here you got it. All the wild animals or beasts. The hand of the daughter Merope, this is very literal, because the king promised the hand of the daughter Merope. And let me show you the hand, because Merope, or the silvery shadow here, is the hand, and the fingers here is the stripes and the striped shadow. The hand can also sometimes be this, and then the thumbs is like this. But in this case, it's the hand of the female, and that's the silvery shadow with the fingers of the striped shadow. You got it? Perfect. Then I'll delete the picture. After Orion completed the tasks and killed all the animals, the king refused to honor the agreement. In a drunken rage, Orion assaulted Merope. As punishment, Oenopion blinded Orion and banished him from the island. So let's see what we can do here. I have a little question here. Yeah, it was the king that blinded Orion. And first of all, we already know that Merope is the female shadow here. Let me draw her quick. Oh, that's not so good. Here. She always stands there with the crossed legs. And Orion's eye is, of course, the eye in the Milky Way center here. And then the king blinds him. And see here, this is genius, because the king is the striped shadow here, piercing the eye of the Milky Way center. So he is blinding Orion. And yeah, and this is this is also a story from ancient Egypt, where I think it was Set is, put his dagger into the eye of Horus, and then Thoth come with his pen and repair it. So, this is like a copycat. Okay, so now we are standing here with the blind Orion. Let me try to keep this for a moment, because Orion stumbled to the island of Lemnos. And the island Lemnos means the white, smoky, misty island. And this island is, of course, this area, the misty area of the Milky Way center. And this is the home of Hephaestus, which means a fiery and volcanic smith, smith god. And this fiery smith is, of course, the disk here in the Milky Way center, the fiery golden disk. So now he is in the foggy land with the blacksmith who tried to repair his eye. And so, when Orion is here, Hephaestus, his servant, named Kedalion, which means the purifier, guides Orion to the far east, where the rising sun, Helios, could restore his vision. And Orion carried Sedalion on his shoulders during the journey. So let's start from the start here. Kedalion, the girl, the purifier, is a personification of the smoky area up here. So this is the girl that guides Orion to the eye repair. And let me see here. And they go to the Far East where the rising sun Helios is, and Helios is not the sun. Helios is the disk in the Milky Way center with the spirit light, So it's, when they use the term sun in the myth, it's the hidden sun or the divine sun. It's not the physical sun. Never, ever. Divine myths or philosophy, you don't use the physical world, so to speak. Okay, and while they are here, Helios is repairing his eye, and of course we can use the same analogy here. We got the eye here, and now it's vice versa. Helios in the center. Remove the striped shadow here from the eye. So, first it comes in, and now Helios is remove it from the eye. And then Orion carrying Sedalion on his shoulders. And let me draw the foggy mist here, the purifying. The reason why why she is called the purifier, Sedalion, is because this area is the pure spirit of the Milky Way, the void, from where everything comes into the physical world as manifested spirit into the disk, and then it goes through the striped shadow into the mortal world, into you and me, so we can obtain some wisdom. Let's move. Here we got Sedalion or Kedalion, and Orion wears her on his shoulders. So because this is the shoulders of Orion. This is always the shoulders in mythology. So here you got the purifier Cedalion on the shoulders of Orion. And now his eye work again. Okay, after his sight was restored, Orion continued his life as a hunter, often associating with the goddess Artemis and her mother Leto in Crete. And just to follow that up, let me get my right color here. Artemis is of course also an aspect of the silvery shadow here, because it's her mother, so to speak. And all the females in the mythologies is always this silvery shadow, but in this case Artemis is more like the arch here, because she's an archer, So in this myth, this part of the striped shadow is Artemis, and the white shadow here is her mother. So this is her bow, and the stripes in here is the arrows of Artemis. And now we come to the most significant part, because Crete, the island Crete, where all the Western world likes to go on vacation, means cutting island. And the striped shadow is very famous regarding everything that cutting, because this is all the cuts in the island. So the striped shadow here is actually, from the Milky Way, is used to name the physical geological island in Greece, Crete. Fantastic. And the striped shadow is also used in many other myths as the scythe. The striped shadow here is the handle of the scythe. So this is cutting edge, so to speak. All right, now let's go to the death and to the constellation part of Orion, because that's one of my great findings. Let's see what we can find here. Once Orion declared he would kill every wild animal on Earth, the angered Gaia, the primordial goddess of the Earth, sent a giant scorpion to defeat him. Orion's strength was no match for the venomous creature, which stung him to death. Okay, so we got a scorpion who hits Orion and kill him. So let's find the scorpion here. I already told you that this is all the animals he killed. And the next, we also know that Gaia is also the female shadow here, because Gaia is Mother Earth. Here in her womb is the earth. This is the spirit manifesting the disk light and the physical world into the striped shadow. And then we need the scorpion. And let me outline it for you here. I always have to, So here we got the claws of the scorpion. And here we got another claw. We just have to follow the shadows. And here we got the arms, and here we got some arms too. And something like that, I think. And then we got the body, just follow the crescent here, up. And here we got the stinger. And here is the back body of the scorpion. And then we'll give it some legs here. So here you got the scorpion. And the venom of the scorpion is of course the red or golden venom from the disk in the Milky Way center, which runs through his veins down the striped shadow here and kill Orion. So here you got this story. But there is more, because the aftermatch is, let me see here if there's more. No, I got one more before we go to the last thing here. Apollo, because this is the one way he was killed, and there's also another version, because there's like the oldest version and then the new version. And in the other version, Apollo challenged, Apollo, was he was jealous on Artemis, his twin sister, because of his relationship with Orion, and therefore he wants him, out of the way, but he won't do it himself. So he tricked Artemis to kill Orion, and he did it by challenge Artemis because of her hunting skills, to point to a tiny point in the distant sea, and daring her to hit it with an arrow. As a skilled archer, Artemis took the shot and killed the point, which was Orion swimming in the water. So she killed her love in this story. And let me draw. We already know that this is Orion swimming in the water here. And we got the bow of Artemis and all the arrows here. And the striped shadow is the big arrow hitting Orion right in the head, the point in the sea, because the point in the sea is the golden disk light in the Milky Way center. And if I remove the drawings here, you can see the striped shadow here looks like an arrow going into the disk in the sea. So this was their alternative, or I think this is the real edition, but doesn't matter. Both of them works perfect. So yes, and when Orion dies, Zeus placed both Orion and the Scorpion in the heavens as constellations. And so already by now you know that Orion is a character from the Milky Way that was used to create and outline the constellation Orion. So all the myth and everything you hear about Orion has nothing to do with the constellation Orion. That's a fact. And that's the same with all the other constellations. There's not a single classical myth worldwide based on the constellations. It simply doesn't exist. And that's my claim. All right. So, and by the way, many of the world myths and the interpretations has failed because the experts, try to relate everything to the stars and the planets, and they totally overlooked the Milky Way center. The greatest image of them all, or the greatest star, so to speak, in the heavens. Okay, let's let's back all this up um, with the weapons and the equipment Orion has. Orion has a great bronze club, you know, and this bronze club is, of course, the silvery shadow here. This is the club. And then Orion also got, maybe I can, no, I'll make them individually. And then he got his famous belt, the belt of Orion, with the hanging sword, you know, and the belt is here. It's the outline of the Milky Way center. This is his belt. And in his belt, his sword is hanging, visualized by the striped shadow here. So this is Orion's belt, not the constellation. So that's great. Oh my God, I have spent so many hours on the constellation Orion. Years after years after years. Along with the Ophiuchus, because that's the two heaviest, most exciting constellations. But when I found out this, it was like, ugh, the air was going out of the balloon. So now constellations is like secondary stuff for me. Orion also got a shield made of lion skin. And this is Orion's shield. And the lion is here. This is the lion's head here. And the back part of the lion is the silvery shadow here. So that's why it's called the lion skin. And the silvery shadow here is also the lion pawn with the stripes. Shadow here is the claws. That's why there's lion feet, on the throne and everywhere. But this is not a part of the story, so sorry, I get off the track. But here we got the lion skin shield. And the lion head is, of course, the golden disc in the Milky Way center. And by the way, the reason why Orion has a shield is because he must protect himself. This could also be a shield. Because he has to protect himself for the bull. So let's find the bull here again, because this is the bull of heaven here. And it's look like something like this. Here we got the bull of heaven. Here. So, Orion, which is here, must protect himself from the bull of heaven. And the dark shadows is also the bull skin. Enough of the shield of the lion skin. And then Orion is the big hunter, and he also got a bow, or a bow and arrows. Not arrows, but arrows. And that can be a little definition here, but you got the big bow of the giants here. and all his and his arrow. And it could also be the bow in the striped shadow and all the arrows here. But since he's a giant, I'm sure it's the big bow here with the big arrow. So this is his bow and arrow. And then there is like a bonus weapon. It's not that famous, but Orion also or is depicted with a Lango balloon stick. Yeah, Lango balloon. It's a throwing stick or a missile using for hunting hares. You know, the small pet animals, hares. I didn't know it was the name in English, but it is. In Denmark we call it canins or canina. Or a hare. But this stick is of course the striped shadow here. And the rabbit, it's the better word, is of course the Milky Way center, because this is the rabbit's ears here. And here we got the other rabbit ear. So here we got the rabbit. Hello, rabbit. So, yeah. And as I remember, the staff, maybe the staff could also be, could also be this, because I mean the shape is formed like something like this. It's, you know, it's bending. So it's maybe more correct to say that the silvery shadow here is the stick. But, you know, when we sum it all up, this is basically the same shadow here. So, or it's connected. Okay, so now you know what the Lango balloon throwing stick is from Greek mythology. And what else do we got here? I got Miscellaneous. Yeah, and I want to mention it one more time because it's important to understand that not a single myth of Orion is based on the constellations or the planets or anything else other than the Milky Way center, Orion and the Milky Way center. And the reason why I'm so upset, because I am a little upset, is because in ancient Egypt, they got a god named Sar, which is interpreted as the constellation Orion. And it's crazy. I have been hunting the text down for years, and I can't find the connections. And I have no clue in my mind how the experts can draw that conclusion. You know, I think it's, I wonder why. So now, in the near future, I'll come up with the videos with Sar describing, because he's also a part of the Milky Way center and not constellation Orion. Not even Orion in the Milky Way center. Oh well, almost the same, but not the constellation. Okay, enough of what thing isn't instead of what things is. That's my new motto. Keep your focus on facts instead of what's not the facts. Okay, that was all. Now you know where to find the real Orion in the Milky Way center. And thank you for watching. I appreciate it very much. And until next video, take care. Bye.